underway here. We're just a few minutes late. Welcome and good evening. I'm Mike Brazel, and I'm the director for District 3, and I'm thankful for serving as your district director for the past 3 years. I would like to welcome you for everyone here. For those who are in person, there's also virtual. This is being live streamed for those of you that want to participate that way. A gathering like this for a district meeting drives home the point that Lake Region Electric Cooperative is different from other utilities. We're different because we put our members at the center of everything, and that is something powerful. We continue to enter exciting times in our cooperative's history. We have continued implementing new technologies, entering new markets, creating new ways to provide our members with savings, and added conveniences to enhance the quality of life for each of our members. And Tim's going to talk about that. You'll hear some more details about that here a little bit later tonight. Lake Region Electric Cooperative is in strong financial position right now. LREC achieved its goal of 45% equity last year, which demonstrates the financial strength of the cooperative. We continue to focus on rate stability, and I'm pleased to announce that we have raised rates only once in the last 9 years. This is amazing considering the rising costs of so many other things that we rely upon in our daily lives. New technology continues to be adopted and incorporated by Lake Region to assure our members the most reliable service we can provide. I would like to thank our employees who have made it a priority to engage with our members through events such as Coffee with the Co-op. The feedback from these events have been very positive, and we greatly appreciate the members who attend those events. Lake Region Electric Cooperative wouldn't be in business if it were not for all of you, our member owners. You are the reason for our existence, and you share in our success. So let's get started here. We need a meeting chair for this district meeting to preside over the nomination process. I would propose that our attorney, Chad Fellstuhl, he's sitting over there, be the meeting chair for the district meeting. Does anyone have any other nominees to act as the chair of the meeting? Okay, thank you. Your chairman for the meeting is Chad Fellstuhl. If a vote is needed for candidates for the board of directors, voting will occur in person by paper ballot, and I believe each of you received a paper ballot, correct? The voting process will only be needed if we have more than 2 nominees for candidates for the director position. If there is only one candidate nominated, no voting is required, and he or she will be placed on the ballot and elected by acclamation unless there is a petition candidate, and then both the nominated candidates and the petition candidate will be placed on the ballot. I'm glad you can join us to learn more about the Lake Region Electric Cooperative and participate in the local democracy by participating in the nomination process. Before we begin the nomination process, I want to introduce the rest of the board of directors. Their pictures are up here. I guess I got to advance that, huh? Well, there's me. There we go. So Kurt Kruger is from District 1. Bud Hensel is from District 2. Bud is here. Myself for District 3. Earl Rydell from District 4. Earl's raising his hand there. Patrick Myers from District 5, which we just, he made it here. He found out how slippery it is down here on the end of 505th Street, so. Oh, that wasn't you? Okay. Someone else then. Joyce Valley is joining us virtually from District 6. Tom Jenin from District 7. I think Tom went down there to see if he could pull whoever that was out. Okay. And Sid Wisness is from District 8. Sid also went down there to see who that was. And then Robert Shaw is here as well from District 8, or District 9, I'm sorry, down in the Parkers Prairie area. So those are your board of directors. And I do want to say one thing, and Tim's going to, Mike's going off script here. So I want to say thank you to Robert Shaw and Joyce Valley. They put in 15 years on the board. I want to say thank you very much. There's term limits, so they're rolling off this year. But thank you for your service to the cooperative. Appreciate that. So our meeting continues with nominations. Our meeting chair will guide us through the process. So Chad, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mike. There are 2 ways that a candidate can become a candidate for the board at the annual meeting in June. The first way is the reason why you're all here tonight. That is through the director district meeting where nominations are made, and if there are more than 2 nominations made, then we will have a vote. If there are not more than 2, then those 2 individuals get placed on the ballot. If there's only 1, then that one gets elected by acclamation unless there is a petition done later. So the first way is why you're here tonight through the nomination process. The second way is through a petition process. So if someone wants to try and petition to get on the board of directors after tonight, they have to get 50 original and signed signatures from the members of District 6 in order to be put on the ballot. District 3. This is District 3, sorry. We were in District 6 earlier. That's the district I'm in. So that's the one that was on my mind, so thank you, Mike. So there are other requirements found in our bylaws. That's found in Article 4, Section 4.4b. For anyone that has any questions on that, you can take a look at our bylaws on the website. So as chairman for this district meeting, I have appointed Greg Larson as our recording secretary for the meeting. I have also appointed Penny Rydell and Jean Zepper as tellers if we need those. The tellers will physically count the ballots if we have to get to a vote with ballots. And then we'll let all of you know the results of those ballots at the end of the meeting. Since there are more than 10 members present here tonight, I declare that we have a quorum for this district meeting. The qualifications for being a candidate for the board of directors were handed out to you. Does anyone have any questions about the qualifications for becoming a director? If there aren't any questions, just a couple housekeeping rules. We would ask that when you make a nomination, please state your name and spell your name, as well as stating and spelling the name of the individual that you are nominated for the director position. Any questions about the process? I would declare the nomination process to be open. According to our bylaws, the nomination process has to be open for 2 minutes. A time clock on the screen here will indicate when nominations are closed. Do we have any nominations for District 3? Yes, sir.
Brad Ashmowitz. I'll nominate Mike Brazel.
Thank you, Brad. Any other nominations? This is the hardest part of my job, not speaking for a minute and a half, so. Lawyers aren't very good at that. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Last call. If there are no more nominations, would someone please make a motion for nominations for director to be closed? What is your name, sir? Can you spell your last name? Thank you, Tom. Is there a second? Yes, sir. What is your name? Thank you, Dennis. It has been moved and seconded that nominations for director be closed. Those in favor signify by saying yes. Yes. Those opposed signify by saying no. The motion carries. Mike, would you please stand? To the best of your knowledge, do you meet the qualifications for director? If so, please answer yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Would you like to make a few comments?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
Say something at the end.
All right, sounds good. Since only one candidate has been nominated, we don't have to have a vote today. The bylaws state that if there's only one candidate nominated at a district meeting, and unless a member is nominated by petition in the next 30 days, Mike will be seated as your director for this district at the annual meeting in June without further voting. If a candidate is later nominated through the petition process, then that individual and Mike will go on the ballot for the annual meeting in June. Now, I would like to invite Tim Thompson, our CEO, to come up and say a few words.
Am I on? Great, thank you. Hope you can hear me okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this full house tonight on this cold evening. We really appreciate that. Also like to thank the 30 members who are joining us online tonight. So this good crowd and 30 online, thank you so much. These district meetings are such an important part of your cooperative. It's a great opportunity for all of us to come together at the grassroots level and be involved in the director nomination process, to visit with your board of directors. Several employees here tonight encourage you to visit with them about Lake Region Electric. You know, the thing that I think I like most about these district meetings every year is just to be in a room with a lot of awesome people. The people that we take the privilege of to serve day in and day out. Thank you so much for being part of this wonderful cooperative. I'm going to touch on several things tonight. I'm going to touch on things like some of the new things we're doing and how we're working to have more member engagement in our organization. We're going to talk about rate stability. The good news there, our rates are very stable right now. Going to talk about a lot of things we're doing to improve your reliability, making a lot of investments back into our grid. And I'm going to talk about the financials a little bit, show you the financial statement from last year. Your cooperative had another really solid year financially. Well, let's start with talking about member engagement. It is so important in an electric cooperative to have a high level of member engagement. We want to be a cooperative who has a high level of that member engagement. Here are a few new programs that we rolled out this past year. One is our Coffee with the Co-op program. The other one is Brews and Your Views. We invite members into local cafes and restaurants. The Coffee with the Co-op program, it's a morning meeting. Invite members in, have some coffee and donuts. Just talk about what's going on at Lake Region. The Brews and Your Views meetings are late afternoon, early evening. Have some hors d'oeuvres, and again, just have a casual conversation about what's going on at your cooperative. The theme of this first year of doing these 10 different meetings across our service territory was about reliability. We selected areas where we felt in our service territory where we felt we had some weaknesses in our reliability. We went out there, talked to those members, got some feedback, and shared with them the things we're doing to improve the reliability in those areas, getting really good feedback on those meetings. We'll probably have them again this year, so watch your newsletter and maybe you can join us for one. Another new program is our Virtual Member Advisory Committee. Same concept as a traditional member advisory committee where we get to physically get together, but with technology today, making it very easy for members to be involved with the cooperative in this advisory committee through electronics. We do this through Facebook. We put questions out there for members. They can respond to those questions, give us feedback at their leisure. We can put little videos out there on a variety of topics. Just really good feedback we're getting from this group of members that are part of this committee. It's just another good way for us to inform our strategic plan as we go forward. Last fall, we again did our annual member satisfaction survey. Pleased to report that we had 2,783 members participate in that survey. We got a score of 8.9 of a possibility of 10 when we asked that question overall. How satisfied are you with your cooperative? 88% of our members responded with either an 8, a 9, or a 10. The trend line on the screen there, the green line, shows our customer satisfaction over the last few years is gradually increasing. We scored an 8.6 back in 2017, and we had an 8.9 here this past year. The best part of the survey that we get back is the members' comments. We love that. A lot of those comments are very positive, And a lot of those comments are directed at our employees who do such a great job day in and day out, 24/7. We have some linemen in the room tonight, the awesome job that they do out in those storms and things, taking care of us as members. So much appreciate that. Going to talk, we get feedback about our rates. So I'm going to share some things about our rates tonight and the good news of the rate stability. And then talk a lot about the things we're doing for reliability. Reliability in today's society is so important. We want to try to get to the next level with our reliability. So here's a quote from one of our members in the survey. It says, "Thank you for having some of the lowest rates in Minnesota." If we look just at electric cooperatives in the state, that's pretty accurate. What this chart shows is it's a group of 14 different co-ops across the state. Lake Region is the green bar right here. And when we compare the cost of 1,000 kilowatt hours at our co-op compared to our peer group, it shows that we are second lowest in that peer group. We also get this comment: our rates are too high compared to town residents. The fundamental reason why electricity is typically going to be a little more expensive or a little more costly in a rural area where we serve is there's such few number of customers spread out across such a large area compared to a town or a city. These two pictures kind of paint that picture for us, if you will. The picture on this side, very nice looking rural area. What do you see as you drive down the road there? You see several poles, a lot of electrical infrastructure with a few houses kind of scattered out. The other picture of a town, you see one pole there with several buildings, several customers very close there. Just more economically feasible and lower cost to serve customers who are in a smaller area. To demonstrate this point just a little bit further, I like to use these two props. Pretend with me that this is 1 mile of Lake Region electric power line. We have 5,800 miles of power line, but for each mile of line that we have, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 customers along that mile. So those 5 customers, have to pay for, and that's who we have to recover the cost of this entire line from, only 5 customers. If you compare that to this mile of power line, let's pretend this was XL Energy. They have, if you counted up all these pieces of tape, they have 46 customers per mile of line. So when you think about the cost of this line and having 46 customers to recover that cost from, they just naturally have a lower cost to deliver that electricity than we do. Excuse me, sorry about that. What the numbers at the bottom show is the customers per mile for us at Lake Region. Like I said, we only have 5. XL has 46. So one of the big differences you typically see in rate structures between an electric cooperative who serves rural areas and an XL Energy who serves big towns is that this monthly facility charge for Lake Region, there we go, is going to be higher. Ours is $24 a month compared to the monthly facility charge of XL, which is only $8. Well, how does our $24 a month at Lake Region compare to all these other utilities across the state? We're the green bar again at $24 per month. The utilities over here that are lower, they're typically those larger investor-owned utilities or municipal utilities that just serve the towns. And then the ones that are higher than us, those again are just typically rural electric cooperatives like us. Well, what is a monthly facility charge, by the way? Let's talk about that a little bit. The monthly facility charge, our $24 per month, is designed to cover the cost of the infrastructure needed to turn a light bulb on in your home. So let's talk about all that infrastructure needed so when you get home tonight and you hit that switch, that light bulb comes on. We start here on this side with a substation. A substation today is somewhere in that $1 million range. We have 30 substations total across our large territory. The poles and wires here, a single phase mile of power line is somewhere in that $51,000 per mile of cost to build, and a 3-phase is of course higher, about $79,000 per mile. It also takes a lot of operations and maintenance. Our linemen, for example, out there doing the operations and maintenance of our system. Today alone, just a bucket truck is about $200,000. Pole-mounted transformer installed is about $900, and a meter installed is a couple of $100. So Very expensive infrastructure. And if you think about that $24 a month, 80 cents a day, it really doesn't begin to cover the entire cost of all of this infrastructure. So one of the things the board is looking at is, because of this wonderful environment we're in right now with our financial strength and our rate stability, this might be a good time to consider, first of all, raising the $24 per month, but at the same time, on a revenue neutral basis, lowering the kilowatt hour charge. So if we think about that, if you're an average customer, average usage, in your home year round, average usage, if one component of your bill goes up, the fixed charge, and the variable charge goes down, you're really not going to see much of a change in terms of your total cost of your bill. Now, if you're a smaller user, a seasonal user, and we increase the 24 and lower the energy charge, you're going to see a little increase. If you're a larger user, larger than average, and we raise the 24 and lower the energy charge, you might see actually a little less. And so this is something your board of directors is studying. We're going to be doing a cost of service study, as it's called, here this year. They'll help us analyze all this a little bit better. But we just want to mention this at these district meetings this year. We'll be talking a lot more about it in our communications in the months ahead. So stay tuned for that, and we'll continue to share information as the board studies this topic. Well, the good news for us right now is we are in this period of rate stability. We've had that one rate increase in the last 9 years. That was a 4.3% increase back in 2017. Again, this is just a forecast, but we think our rates can stay pretty stable into the future. Certainly no need for new revenue this year or probably next year. We do know inflation is real and it's happening. Hopefully we can continue to manage this cooperative in a way to keep your rates stable for you. Really good news. One of the reasons we've been able to have rate stability is we have focused really hard on creating new revenue streams for Lake Region Electric. And I like to say, every time we can create a new revenue stream for the cooperative that's not a revenue stream that's coming out of our rates from members, a new revenue stream, that just allows us to spread those fixed costs over more revenue. It really helps us from a financial standpoint. A good example of a new revenue stream as part of our rate stabilization plan is our standby generator program. This is a really premium service for those members who really have to have that peace of mind that if that power does go out, they've got their own generator on site, then they can automatically come on and carry them through that power outage. Again, every time we do one of these, it creates a new revenue stream for the co-op and rate benefits for members. This has been a very popular program. We've installed 90 standby generators this past year alone. Since we started this program in 2017, we've now installed 380 standby generators. Love the quote at the bottom. Again, feedback from our membership. The whole experience with Lake Region from start to finish was excellent. Just another example of the wonderful job our employees do serving the membership. Another part of our rate stabilization plan is our new Lake Region Energy Services, which is the name of our new natural gas company. We are now bringing natural gas to areas that have never had natural gas before, and they are switching from propane to natural gas, and they are saving money. We are helping people improve their quality of life by lowering the cost that they need to spend to heat. We're over 1,000 customers now. We started in 2017, gone from 0 to over 1,000 customers since 2017. And having this natural gas company helps benefit all of us as electric ratepayers. It's a new revenue stream, and we can also allocate fixed costs off the electric cooperative into the natural gas company, and those costs are recovered through the natural gas ratepayers, creating that rate benefits for Lake Region members. Here's some of the pictures of some of the entities that we have brought natural gas to that are saving money and helping communities improve the quality of life. For example, the Parkers Prairie School District is a customer of ours. The Dent Community Center, some churches, helping churches save money on their heating bills, and of course family farms for grain drying, for heating turkey barns, dairies, those types of things. It's just been a really motivating experience for all of us launching this new company and helping people save money That's really what a cooperative is all about, improving quality of life. Another thing that's helping us out financially is the fact that we are now one of the owners of Carr's Tree Service. We all know we have a lot of trees in our area. We spend a lot of dollars each year clearing trees. So we looked at that and said, do we want to just continue to pay a contractor to cut our trees? Or do we want to be part of ownership of a group like Carr's Tree Service that's headquartered in Otter Tail City? And so we work with them. We are an owner now. And so as an owner, Lake Region shares in the financial success of Carr's Tree Service. Again, brings new revenue into the company, helps us keep our rates stable. We've also done some really nice things with local renewable energy. This is a picture of our wind solar hybrid project. It's a GE 2 megawatt turbine and a 0.5 megawatt of solar. It works together. We've got a short video on this that we want to show you, but it's really a cool project because it's local production and local consumption by our members.
I've always felt that electricity is the lifeblood of our society. Nothing works without electricity.
We worked with the Lake Region Electric Co-op in rural Minnesota to design the hybrid electric solar and wind solution. This gave this very rural community a low-cost renewable energy solution.
This is the first true solar wind hybrid of its kind where we've utilized this technology that we developed with GE.
Hybrid renewables are scalable from cities and towns to small rural communities.
They're very complementary on how they work together. We can harness both the wind and the sun in one project and bring more renewable electricity to our members. With this renewable technology, there's no fuel, no emissions, no waste, no water, and it's by far and away cheaper energy. It not only allows us to bring in the renewable energy for our members, but it also actually saves us money on our overall power costs. So it's more renewables, less cost for our members, and that's what they're asking for.
We absolutely need a greener, cleaner system. Hybrid renewables are our first step in the path to reaching 100% renewable energy.
One of the really neat things about this, again, it's local production of electricity, and it interconnects directly back into the local distribution grid that you as members of Lake Region already own. So it didn't require any new transmission, any new overhead costs. It's local production, local consumption by our members, and like the video said, it's saving us dollars on our power cost. These 4 projects that I just described, the wind solar project, the natural gas company, Carr's Tree Service, and the generator program, if you look at those together on an annual basis, it creates about $750,000 of positive rate benefits for our members. It helps us financially to the tune of about that $750,000. So that helps us keep our rates stable. The second reason why we've been able to keep our rates stable is because of the good work that Great River Energy, our generation and transmission cooperative, is doing. Mike Brazel is the Lake Region board member who serves and sits on the board at Great River Energy, does a wonderful job for us there at Great River Energy. But the energy industry, as we all know, is going through a transition, and that's true for us and Great River Energy also. Great River Energy is in the process of selling Coal Creek Station, a coal-fired power plant in North Dakota, to Rainbow Energy, and Great River Energy is entering into a 10-year power contract with Rainbow to purchase power from Rainbow for the next 10 years. As we look forward, more of our electricity is going to come from those renewable sources, wind, solar, battery storage, also natural gas, and ultimately that's going to lead to lower emissions. And the good news there is it's helping with our rate stability. One of the things, as we think about change, as we think about transition, one of the things that your board of directors is really focused on is reliability. I like to say reliability is king. You know, it was 32 below, I think, this morning when I went to work. I heard a 38 below earlier. We absolutely have to have the reliability for our cooperative, and we're very focused on that. Great River Energy has these 4 natural gas-fired power plants in the state of Minnesota. Pleasant Valley, Elk River, Cambridge, Lakefield Junction. These power plants have also a backup fuel source, so it's dual fuel plants, except for Cambridge, but there's plans to add the dual fuel capabilities there, so they have redundant fuel supplies. Again, just one more level of reliability. David Segu, the CEO of Great River Energy there, that's his quote at the top. He says, "We have a fleet of modern natural gas plants in Minnesota that provide all hours reliability." Reliability at our local level is something we're very focused on, of course. I'm really proud of the efforts around the Lake region to improve reliability for our members. Appreciated the member comment here. Continue keeping outages to a minimum. This has already improved the last 10 years. And you can see the last 10 years, it's really this period of time right here. It is, quite a bit lower than this period of time. About 50% reduction over the last 15 years in outages for our members. A lot of reasons for that. I want to share some of those with you. Want to draw your attention to this past year, 2021. When I first looked at our year-end results in the 2.2, that was higher than I wanted it to be, because it looks like it's trending up right there, doesn't it, the last 3 years. We want to try to keep that. Our goal is to keep that number below 2. So if we drill into our 2.2 for last year, one of the things that was somewhat unique for 2021 for Lake Region was we had a lot of what we call planned outages. 0.8 of that 2.2 was for planned outages. Planned outages, we sometimes have to notify members that say next week on a certain day and time, we need to take this substation off or this line off. That's a planned outage because we got a major project going, and it's just safer to take that line out of service, for example, to get that work done quickly for you. That's an example of a planned outage. We had a lot of those last year because we're making so many upgrades to our system. So going forward, those planned outages that we had last year should help us with the reliability going forward. On a typical year, that 0.8 is about 0.4, so about double last year, our planned outages compared to a normal year. As we all know, there's the $1.5 million we spend each year on tree clearing. That's a big number. We continue to test all of our poles, those types of things. We changed out 452 poles last year, kind of the backbone of our local grid, if you will. I want to draw your attention to this side of the slide. This is a map of our electric service territory here. We're very focused on trying to use new technology, innovation, and employee engagement to find ways to drive outages out of our system. This new program, we call it the Distribution Grid Improvement Program. We looked at all of our outage histories, and we pinpointed the 10 worst areas across our system. And we said, we want to go to those areas and improve those areas. So we took that data and information, we gave it to our linemen, and we said, we want you to go out and study, get your own eyes on these 10 areas. Use your knowledge, skill, ability, and experience, and look at those areas. Figure out ways we could do it differently in those areas to improve reliability for our members. They came back with some really good ideas and thoughts, and we're working to implement those now in these 10 different areas. The color here, the lighter green or yellow, those have been done. The reddish, pinkish ones have not, so we're working a process to get to those 10 worst areas and make some improvements there. Again, just attacking reliability and outages from all angles to improve reliability. There's 2,240 members that live in those 10 different areas, so if we can make a nice improvement in those worst areas, those numbers should continue to go down for outages across our system. Really excited about this. This is our new exactor technology that we've invested in. I want to explain this, but this is all about trying to prevent outages, finding problems on our system before they occur. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? So it's a two-step process. The first step is this technology, this yellow box you see sitting on the hood of that truck, that unit in a vehicle, if you drive along the power line, make 4 passes across that power line, and as when that technology is sensing that power line and pinpointing where it thinks we have an issue. And so at the end of step 1 here, as it makes those 4 passes, it gives us a list of locations where we can go back to where it's saying you may have an issue. So the second step is when we go back to those locations, for example, this pole right here, the second step is to take this device and kind of scan it over all the pieces of hardware. And when you do that, if there's an issue there, it'll make a sound and you know you found the issue. So the cool thing about this is it's preventing outages, and our guys, instead of waiting for a power outage, our linemen, and having to go out there maybe at night, maybe in a storm and deal with this situation, hopefully we can go out and do it on a proactive basis on a nice day like that. It's great for reliability for our members, and it's great for safety for our linemen. So win-win. Here's some of the things that we are finding with this exactor technology. A transformer here that needed to be replaced, a regulator, an insulator. Can you imagine responding to an outage at night and going up and having to fix some of these things? Hope you can see how valuable this can be for us long term. It's probably going to take a few years, to get around our big system, but over time it should really make a difference on our outages for you. We've also made a lot of investments back into the grid in this area. About 5 years ago, we were dissatisfied with the transmission service that we were receiving from our transmission providers, Great River Energy and Otter Power, so we had a meeting with them. The transmission system, those are those bigger structures, bigger lines, larger substations that you see out there, that from the power flows from those larger structures down to our local substations that ultimately then feed you at the local level. So I want to share with you the projects that came out of these meetings about 5 years ago, and now they are coming to fruition and now completed. So one of the first ones is a very large new GRE transmission substation near Perham called Schuster Lake. This was completed in the fall of 2019. A $6.8 million project. This has increased the reliability to 4 Lake Region electric substations, the Frazee substation, Dora, Dent, and Perham. Those 4 substations serve over 5,000 Lake Region electric members. If we look at kind of the before this new substation was built and after, those 4 Lake Region substations were experiencing 6.5 transmission-related outages per year. Since this new substation was built in the fall of 2019, 0. If you run the numbers, that's about 65,000 fewer individual outages over that period of time. If you're served by some of those substations, I hope you've maybe noticed the improvement. Another big project that came out of this analysis that we did on our system is the new Lake Eunice substation. This is about a $3 million project. This substation is in the Lake Eunice area, Pelican Lake area, completed just this past fall in October. This is both a substation, a Lake Region substation upgrade, and the transmission line upgrade that serves Lake Eunice for us. Love showing these old and new pictures, the old substation here, new substation there. This was the old transmission line that served this old substation. This is part of the new transmission line that now serves our new Lake Eunice substation. For this one substation alone, over 2,000 members are served off of it. This is a larger picture of the new Lake Eunice substation, and the new transmission line that now comes into this very modern substation that will serve Lake Region members well for the decades to come. Yet another large project was an upgrade to the Great River Energy Frazee transmission substation, $10.2 million project. For this upgrade, there's also plans for a new transmission line to come into that transmission substation in 2023. But the results of this are, this substation is so key to us that it's going to improve the reliability and voltage support for over 1/2 of Lake Region Electric's substations. Again, just the old picture here and the picture of the new substation there. I hope you can kind of see the major investments that's been made there to improve reliability for you. Another project with Great River Energy is an upgrade to their Henning substation, a $1.2 million project, also completed this past year in 2021. Between our Henning substation and our Stocker Lake substation that serves 2,400 members of Lake Region, they too should see some improvements in their reliability because of these new projects. Our 10-mile Lake substation was also upgraded by Lake Region, and we installed about 13 miles of new underground cable out of that substation, about an $850,000 project. This is kind of a summary slide of all those projects I just described. These red dots are the locations of all of those projects. The green shaded areas are the members of Lake Region who should see now improved reliability. In those green shaded areas is over 18,000 Lake Region members, about 65% of our entire membership. The sum total of all these projects was about $22 million. We don't know of a time where that much money has been spent back into our system for improvements in such a short window. So we're hopeful that you're seeing the fruits of some of this, particularly as we go forward. Switching gears to our financials, I appreciated some discussion and comments earlier as we were coming in this evening about our financial condition. This is the 2021 consolidated financial statement. Now that we have a wholly owned subsidiary, which is a natural gas company, this is a consolidated statement for both Lake Region Electric Cooperative and our gas company, Lake Region Energy Services. So top line there, revenue, $55 million last year. If you look at our cost structure, we're very focused on controlling costs. We absolutely want to be good stewards of your dollars, so we try to manage our costs very closely. So good revenue, good cost control led to a total bottom line margin of $5.6 million for the year. With that good performance for the year, the equity, the balance sheet, the financial strength of your cooperative continues to increase. We now have $66 million of equity in Lake Region Electric. You can see the steady uphill climb and strengthening of the balance sheet over the years. In 2005, we had $23 million. It's increased by $43 million at the end of 2021. With that strong financial position, again, your board of directors made that decision last fall to retire a record amount of capital credits back to the membership, over $1.8 million. That rotation is now down to 17 years. It's came in three pieces this year. One of them's new. Of course, the Lake Region Electric Cooperative component there, the $1.2 million. Great River Energy, our power supplier, $471,000. And CFC, that's a new one. That is a bank that we use. It's a cooperatively owned bank. Its only customers and its only owners are the American electric cooperatives across the nation, headquartered out in Virginia. And we have loans with them for poles and wires and infrastructure. And so we are now returning some of that patronage capital and cash back to the membership as well. This is now 9 consecutive years of record capital credit retirements. We've now paid out over $33 million back to the membership since Lake Region first started retiring capital credits back in 1958. You think about our cooperative, it's all about people, isn't it? People helping people, people serving people. One of the great programs that we have that does that is our Operation Roundup program. Perhaps you've heard of it or maybe participating in it. If you're interested in it, we'd love to talk to you. You can just simply round up your power bill each month to the next whole dollar. So on average, it's 50 cents a month. That small change goes into a fund that makes a big impact in our communities. Those dollars are managed by volunteers of Lake Region Electric Cooperative who sit on the board of directors of the Operation Roundup Fund and decide where those dollars are paid out to. Just a few recent examples of dollars that have been paid out to organizations across our service territory. This one's for the Community Ambulance Fund in Parker's Prairie, the East Ottertail 4-H Club. How wonderful is that? Some dollars going to the 4-H Club there, helping those kids out. My goodness, how awesome has 4-H been across our country over the years? Just a wonderful organization. And then the Ottertail Youth Ski League there. You can just see an instructor helping those kids learn how to ski and things like that. Just awesome things come out of this Operation Roundup Fund. And last year it paid about $92,000 out to these types of organizations. We're approaching $500,000 cumulatively here with this program, and really thankful for the support that the members give this program. It's really making a difference for people in our community. Got a short video that I like to share with you. Leo Dahl, perhaps some of you knew Leo. He wrote a letter to Lake Region Electric about a year ago in the middle of the pandemic, telling the story about what it was like for him and his family when Lake Region Electric brought electricity back in the day to their farm. We had an opportunity to go out and visit with Leo last summer, and Candace here did a really nice job on the video production you're going to see. I just want to play that for you.
If you wouldn't mind just trying to share that story of 1947 and 1948 time frame when you got electricity.
I farmed with my dad, and he had we moved in a small house, and I lived there when electricity came, 1948. And I'll never forget, we had the houses, the buildings pre-wired for it, and when the day came in 1948, we were thrashing, and they just couldn't get over the big yard light. At that time, it was just, you turn them off or on the way you needed them. And it just went leaps and bounds from there, the change of life, everything changed. We could come in the house at night and see the floor. It never, we had lights, but they didn't have anything like electric lights. And
then this old army truck came the next spring to set the poles up. Just pretty amazing process back in the day, digging holes by hand.
Well, yeah, they give us the tools or whatever, they borrowed them, the spoon shovel or spoon hook. They had to be 6 feet deep, and we'd dig them.
Wow.
And then in the wintertime or in the fall, they delivered the poles. They just laid on the ground wherever there was a hole. And then in the spring, that old army truck come with a boom on it. And he lifted up the poles and set them in there. And at that time, the workers, they didn't have these trucks and hoists on everything. They had to climb the poles.
Yeah.
They had those wooden prongs on the shoes, and they climb the poles and fix it up, tie up the wires, and it was amazing to us. We kept watching them all summer, putting it together. And then in August, we got the current, and that changed everything. Everything changed for the better. It was really something good. We were able to get a small radio, and that was really something. And then we put one in the barn that had music in the barn.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a history to it. Few farmers had these 32-volt deals to make electricity, and neighbors were always kind of anxious at that. And when they found out that they could get electricity, they just signed up like nobody's business.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I remember right, the going bill a month was $3.50.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what is it now, 27 or?
Yeah, the basic charge, facility charge is $24. Yeah.
So, but it's a big improvement. Good workers, good upkeep. I really appreciate it.
A $5 membership fee or anything like that? Do you recall?
I don't remember that. I know Dad was one of the workers that went around the country and got the people to sign up for electricity, and it bloomed from there on.
Kind of what you were saying, I keep your letter right there because for me, we have to stay focused on you, the members of the co-op,
Yes.
and so in a little letter, it's got the history, it's got the gratefulness, it's got all the things we talked about, and that's just a good reminder for me every day. When I come to work, I sit down and that's what I see.
Really?
And that keeps me focused on the most important thing, which is you, the member.
There you go.
So, thank you.
Appreciation of saying thank you. Thank you goes a long way.
Yeah.
It really does. And we're very grateful for that.
Oops. Yeah. I'm sure glad he wrote that letter about a year ago. It was quite inspiring to us. Got to know Leo a little bit and his family, just a wonderful family. Unfortunately, he passed away here a few months ago, late last summer. Next summer at our annual meeting, that'll be the 85th annual meeting of our co-op. And just hope you'd agree with me that I'm just so grateful, so thankful for everybody in this cooperative who came before us to build this thing. And hopefully we can keep this thing going the way it is for many years to come. But just, I really love that guy. So glad he wrote that letter to us. Kind of wrapping up my presentation tonight. I like to close with this slide. It's got a picture of all of our board members, all of our employees, the Lake Region team. And I like to say that I hope that when you leave tonight or any time that you feel like your electric cooperative is committed to serving you. If it's not, if you don't feel that way, let's talk about it and figure out how we can solve any issues or problems we have together. It's really important. So again, thank you all for coming out tonight. At this point, I'll conclude, and always like to take an opportunity if we can while we're here. Yeah, okay. To take any questions that you may have. Comments, questions. Yeah. Yes, sir.
The question I have is, we built a home a year ago, and I'm old school. The farm here, at our farm, we've got the transformer,
Okay.
up on the pole, and now we've got this little box in the ground, which is very unique to me. I mean,
Okay.
everything was underground, no more poles up the driveway. Is that a real cost savings? Is that the way it's done nowadays? I have no clue.
Yeah, great comment and question. I'm not familiar with the exact situation. Maybe, I don't know, Al or somebody, can you maybe speak to that? Kind of hard to know the exact situation, but.
In general, we build quite a few new services a year. 95% of what we do these days is probably underground. We still have overhead. We will still, in certain situations, build a new overhead service, et cetera. Overall, our membership really likes underground. They don't like to have to farm around poles if they don't have to, things like that. If you look at our data over the years, we went from about, when I started 25 plus years ago, we were probably around 15% underground. Today, we're probably like 27, 28% underground as a system of that 5,800 miles that Tim talked about. So it's more and more underground all the time. It's not easy to just flip a switch and say we're going to go 100% underground, because you talk about what it costs per mile and you do that math. It's a big undertaking, but we take advantage of the opportunities we have, and we'll do that. And we do a lot of service revisions. You see members going underground, and yeah, that is the common way it's done today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Has your underground line got any better? I went down here, and the 3 miles from the substation to my place, we've had about 20 outages on that line that I remember.
I'll take your word on the 20. I know that 3 miles has been replaced. The last stretch was done in 2021. Yeah, so that was eventually addressed. The early underground, we still have some of it out there. We didn't quite get the performance we thought of that, but it was in the early to mid 80s, 84, we went to a jacketed type cable, and the performance of that has been outstanding. But the early years in the late 70s and the early 80s when we were putting everything in, that's the cable we've had to go back and replace.
I think this was put in the 80s or 90s, and it should have been some of the better stuff, but obviously it was junk.
Yeah, I know, I'm going off memory here, but the last stretch we did, I know was that cable that would not fit in what I'd call the quality end of it. So I'm assuming the 2 miles that was already done was of the same vintage. So, thank you.
That's a great example. Those are the types of things, you know, if somebody's having repeat outages, that's the types of things we're trying to identify. And the board's been so good in terms of allocating additional dollars so we can address problems much more quickly. So that's the whole idea of that distribution grid improvement program. If we know of an area that's got, you know, more than their fair share of outages, we want to get out there and try to take care of it. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I just want to know your thoughts on this natural gas. I see that XL Energy is looking for a 10.5% increase in gas, and I know that our government has restricted a lot of drilling where we're getting our natural gas from, and how is that going to affect our cost of electricity?
Yeah, great question. A lot of things to think about right there. XL, yeah, they're going in for this like 10% type rate increase. I think that's primarily for two reasons. One is, you know, about a year ago when we went through that polar vortex, and the price of natural gas went up, you know, significantly during that time. I think they're one of those utilities that are still, you know, having to recover some of that from their customers and going to be doing that for several years. And then the recent run up, you know, even right now, natural gas is much higher today than it was just, 18 months ago or whatever. So that's causing some of that. Comparing that to Lake Region, we're actually extremely fortunate. When we started the natural gas company, we're utility guy people, and we're risk averse, if I could use that term. We sat down in our boardroom and we actually took a quiz to measure our risk tolerance for things like market fluctuations in natural gas, and we're on the side of conservative, okay? So we put a plan together for our supply of natural gas that was very conservative. We did a lot of hedging so we knew what we could be buying gas at for multiple years to come. At the time, as a new startup, it was very difficult to do that because we were just starting the business. We didn't really know exactly how much gas we were going to need. We didn't know exactly how many customers we were going to have in the coming years. So one could argue that we actually overhedged a little bit in the beginning, but it's proven to be very good for us because we've locked into some really good prices for the gas longer term. And so when we see these upward spikes in gas right now, we're somewhat insulated from that. The second part of that, or the other part of that, you know, restrictions, government regulations, all that. Yeah, coal, natural gas, very concerning. You know, if something comes out legislatively, you know, we're pretty active in those arenas to make sure that, you know, we like to have as many energy sources as we can, kind of an all of the above strategy. Again, we need that in our country, and hopefully we can continue that. It's hard to imagine anytime soon something happening, you know, drastically to natural gas supply that's going to cause us to see this incredible shift in costs and, you know, lack of gas to not only for natural gas use in the home but for power plants. So hopefully we'll do a good job of staying in that mainstream and do what's best. So great question. Yeah.
How as an electrical co-op did we get involved in natural gas initially?
Oh, great question. The why.
Yes.
Yeah. Initially, we saw natural gas coming into our electric service territory, and that was a little bit concerning to us, particularly if people would switch from, say, using electricity to heat their home to natural gas. It was happening. We saw natural gas come into the community of Barnesville. XL Energy and Greater Minnesota Gas brought natural gas there in recent history. The northern part of our service territory, Cormorant Lake, Pelican Lake, that area, Greater Minnesota Gas extended down from the Detroit Lakes area and started serving those areas. So we were starting to see revenue erosion. So we thought, wow, this could be, negatively impact us. We viewed it as a threat to the co-op. And so, we looked hard at how could maybe we get into the natural gas business. At that time, members, particularly who lived up in that area where they were going to now have gas available from Greater Minnesota Gas Company, were coming to us and saying, wow, Lake Region, why don't you try to do this and bring more natural gas out to your members? So we studied it. We studied it really hard. And we wanted to do it. We were close, just not quite comfortable with it yet. So we reached out to Greater Minnesota Gas. And we said, you're the gas company. You have all the experience. We're the local electric cooperative. Could we partner? And that's what we ended up doing. It's been a great partnership. We've learned a lot from them. We do what we do best. We take care of customers. We put, pipes in the ground. We set meters. We do billing, do collections, all those types of things that we know how to do really well. And we have great people. We have great technology, great equipment, and they're more of our transmission provider. And it's gone pretty well for us. So yeah, appreciate the interest and the comments there. Did I answer the question okay?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you. Wow, great questions.
So this natural gas is strictly around heavily concentrated, populated areas?
Great question, yes. So we started with really kind of the combination of things that was needed to make it economical. Was some small towns who didn't have gas before, clusters of customers, and then some large agricultural type gas loads, some grain drying. The big ones are the turkey barns, and so that kind of Deer Creek, Parker's Prairie area kind of had that. That's where it started with those two communities. We extended down to Miltona as well, and then we went over to Dent and served the town of Dent there, a large turkey barn there. And then it's built out a little bit now around the more populated lakes area. So yeah, that's really what it takes. It takes a good number of customers in that smaller area to make it competitive and priced in a way that people would switch from propane to natural gas. Yes.
One more quick one. That 2 megawatt wind tower that you got.
Yes.
That's ours?
Great question. Let me explain that. It's not ours. We don't own it. It's owned by Juhl Energy. Another nice thing about this whole project was Juhl Energy owns it. They built it. They maintain it. We don't have any of that risk, if I could say it that way. All we do is buy the electricity that comes out of it, and we can buy it in a way, and it produces at times where it can shave our peak, and we can avoid some peak demand type costs. And so it's really a kind of a lower risk project for us with a really nice rate of return.
Well, I think everything that I've seen on the wind towers, it's usually around $20 that it needs to break even on them.
Yeah, and yep, and one thing to keep in mind when you see those numbers is, the economics. I mean, size matters with renewable. If there's going to be a price for electricity for one turbine like that at the local level, it's going to, if there's a big wind farm, you can, Great River Energy, for example, they enter into contracts from the big wind energy farms, but they're in, southern Minnesota or soon to be another wind farm in North Dakota. So maybe that's a delivered price at a certain point on the grid, and then of course there's transmission cost, congestion costs possibly, to get it up to where we live. So kind of got to take that into consideration when you see those numbers. But we think we've got a really good contract with Juhl, and for the price we're going to pay for the electricity over a 20-year period. So if something goes wrong with the turbine, it's not ours. It's not our responsibility. And for something like that, we really like that concept. For the solar that we have, our community solar projects and the solar you see at our headquarters, now we do own most of that. In fact, our employees did a masterful job building that ourselves. But that's a whole different deal. You know, solar, ground mounted, not a lot of moving parts compared to a wind turbine. Whole different deal that we just can't take something like that on.
So we're not looking at building a wind farm?
No, we're very limited probably in terms of size of what we can do. We could do some smaller projects like this one, perhaps in the future. But yeah, if it was a bigger wind farm, that's where Great River Energy is at, and they can enter into a contract for 50, 100 megawatts and get extremely good pricing. Yeah. All right. Yeah, useful life's going to be probably somewhere between that 20 and 25 years. Anybody else have a little more details? Any staff, anything on solar? But yeah, they're performing as expected. There is a slight, degradation over time as they get older. But the ones we've built and own, we've planned for 20 years. They'll go longer than that, but we've structured it over a 20-year period. And like any technology, it gets better as we go forward. And we're looking at some small battery storage as well. Kind of excited about that. We're going to be installing a residential-sized battery storage project in a home here soon and learn from that. How can we use battery storage locally on a smaller scale at the individual level? And the idea is if you want better reliability, you could have a battery storage unit at your place, and we could work with you and use that also to shave peaks and save money during times of the day when it's really expensive electricity. That's kind of what we're shooting for, kind of a win-win, reliability and economics for the co-op. All right. Well, it's been a great evening. Thank you very much. Anything else? We good? All right. Hopefully to see you at our annual meeting this summer. Mike, you want to wrap up?
Okay, so just to sort of wrap up, I want to thank everyone for coming. I think this is one of the better turnouts we've had in a long time, so congratulations. We win the award. I don't know what that is yet, but we'll figure that out. Have another donut. Yep. Yeah, Ken, raise your hand. He was our District 3 for 15 years here before me, so thank you. So thank you. If you ever have any feedback, give me a ring. I live in Corliss Township, just a few miles over here. Give me a ring, or you can talk to Tim or any of his staff. So if you have an issue or something like that, let us know. An example, I wanted to use an example of Golden Eagle Campground was a good example where their voltage was low. They had some outages. They finally called up and said, hey, we're always having issues. 4th of July, we got a full house here. And this year we got it taken care of, and so it's a good story. So just speak up and let me know, or let Tim or anyone else know. Okay. So thanks for coming again. June 2nd, Life Church in Fergus Falls, our annual meeting. Please hope you can make it. Okay. So end of the meeting. Thank you. Grab another donut before you go home.